Okay, let's carry on with our story here. So, what we're looking at here is this is me remaining alive. So, inside my spinal cord, and the ventral root nerve connected to the heart, in the ventral root nerve connected to the heart is one single atom. Inside that single atom, you hear inside the electron is a quark. Inside that quark's electron is a soul particle, which revolves around this universe right there. So you got the atoms, the quarks, the soul, and then there's the space particle. This is the good guys universe. This is our universe, the bad guys universe. This is the elemental universe. This is what creates solar systems. And then this is the sun, which is element time. Then there's the Gaia, which is the planets. This is the planets, animal, insects, and fungi souls. So here it is. Here you got the atoms, the quarks, the soul, the universe. And then there's a supermassive black hole at the center of every galaxy. And then there's black holes wherever there's a star. And then wherever there's a planet. In this case, there's 1,408 planets in this universe, and there's 1,408 planets in that universe. And then there's the moons in those solar systems. So these Gaia particles, those are the planets in the solar system. And then their moons. There's 288 moons. And I say 9 planets. Then over here, these are nuclear fusion reactors. Inside that nuclear fusion reactor is microscopic black holes, and then inside of their microwave ovens, if you want to call them that. These are like nuclear fusion reactors that can transform like carbon into your meals, so you don't have to, harm any animals. It just takes the spirits rearrange the molecules to create like a steak without having to harm an animal. So that's what all those spirits and particles look like. So we all have that inside of us. That's where the universe is. And that's where your soul is. And somebody asks you, where's your soul? I say, oh, it's in my heart, in my ventral root nerve, in one single atom inside my heart, which is inside that atom is a quark, and then inside that quark's electron is my soul. That's where it is. And it revolves around the universe. So when I'm running, these two universes here, I'm look at the hydrogen one here. Not that one, this one. Yeah, here it is. So when I'm running, here I'm charging up these hydrogen electrons, fire electrons, and hydrogen earth protons. When they become positive, they're going to stick to that wave. So that's what this is here. They're going to stick to that wave. So I'm almost there. Once I hit that 260 mark, they'll stick to it. So this is me running. So the minute that those hydrogen atoms become positive and stick to that is the minute that these spaceships can also fly in here. Because all the hydrogen atoms in the all creation will be pure. So the spaceships can ride upon the hydrogen atoms, or they can turn on the Einstein-Rosenberg's giant nuclear fusion reactor and ride in a wave of electromagnetism. As I previously said, one takes 60 seconds, one takes 3 hours. So the difference is, in this drawing, I'm alive because, people realize that, if they do me harm, there's a lot that can go down. Like, if somebody harms me by dropping a nuke on me, somebody harms me by coming over here and blowing up my house, or somebody, snipers me when I'm running in the back bush, I'll find out who it is, and I'll make sure that they don't get to come to paradise. So if it's one of my, let's say, sleeper cell children who are pretending to be people they're not from a parallel universe, who teleported over here and took over somebody's body, who makes that happen to me, then what will happen is I won't, these particles here, they're all pure because I've done the purification ceremonies. I've confessed all my sins. I've asked for forgiveness. So I'm 100% pure. What I'm trying to do now is make myself truly 100% pure, but I'm not because I'm fat. And because I'm fat, carrying around the fat, I'm not 100% pure. However, these particles, they are pure. So that's me. I'm trying to run to, lose the fat so I can be 100% pure. However, if somebody unalives me and I end up down here 6 feet under the ground, that particle right here that's in my spinal cord, which is up here, that becomes my consciousness. The electricity that's rotating in that atom, it powers the electricity in the quark, and inside that quark's electron is the soul. The soul doesn't stop moving just because you pass on. No, because all of these things are interconnected. That these particles containing the four elements still rotate because it's electrical, contains electricity and magnetism. The quark still rotates because it contains electricity and magnetism. The soul still rotates because it contains electricity and magnetism. The universe still contains electricity and magnetism. It's a black hole. And then this time particle, there's the black hole under it, that still contains electricity. The Gaia particle, that contains electricity. And even the moon contains electricity. And all of those two, these microscopic black holes in there contains electricity and magnetism. And the oven contains microscopic black holes of electricity and magnetism. So just because I'm unalive, does that mean that these atoms and quarks and soul particles stops revolving? All that would happen here, folks, if somebody dropped a nuke on me, blew me up or sniped me, is I'd fall asleep. But in the process, because right here I'm still technically gray. You want to think of it being here. I'm in transitioning here because why? Well, because every fat cell that's inside of me here, like this fat, that's evil. Those are evil. You think of those as evil spirits. So if I am 6 feet under, those spirits that are here, they no longer make up part of my existence. Because my existence exists inside of this single atom. So I go from being a gray right here, like carrying fat on me, to instantly being a conscious entity of one atom. And because my atom is pure, that's all that matters. This being pure and the fact that I've done all this running up until this point, whenever somebody gets rid of me, means that this is 100% pure atom. This is 100% pure quark. This soul is 100% pure. This universe is 100% pure. This black hole at the center of every galaxy is 100% pure. The time particle is 100% pure. The plants, animals, insects, and fungi, moons, and planets are pure. The black holes in there is pure, and even there is pure. So I would become what's called a singularity. My consciousness, I'd fall right here. This soul particle would make me fall asleep, and I'd enter a dream where I'd just be walking around like a dream where, like we have every night, but it's a dream I wouldn't be able to wake up from. That is for 3 hours. The minute that the people that are watching over me up in the brain see that something bad has happened to me, because they've basically mirrored what evil has done. They've created a neural network in the universe here. So you want to think of them as over here as evil having a relay system out here, like a satellite over here that is bouncing a laser back and forth between the closest planet to the edge of the universe, and that there is what allows them to manipulate our thoughts with electricity. Well, these guys have done the same. The good guys, they put a relay system there too. So when we look at our eyes, the good guys and the bad guys have control of one of these eyes, so they can look out our eyes. The bad guys can look out one eye, and the good guys can look out one eye. So the minute the good guys see that somebody's unalived me, they'll come flying in here, either through the hydrogen or by turning on the giant nuclear fusion reactor and riding that wave of electromagnetism. Because all the hard work has been done. Me running will bind to those particles, turn these particles positive. The minute they turn 100% positive and stick to that wave, like I said, when I hit 260, that's when those particles will bind to that negative wave, making it neutral. If it's neutral, our spaceships can ride that wave, this positive wave, into here because those Earth protons and fire electrons are bound to that wave. So they can come in here within 60 seconds. The minute somebody gets rid of me, then you'd see a UFO over here. And then they would bring me back to life using advanced technology. They could just basically take my body and analyze the DNA and recreate it using advanced technology. I have a picture, but I'll show that later at a different date. Let's see if I have it here. Yeah, here it is. So this is the technology they would come with here. So this is like an advanced medical bed. That's their nuclear fusion reactor. So this is me, the deceased person. So there'd be my body, and there's that single atom inside that dead body, still rotating. There's the single quark, the soul, the space particle, the time particle, and the earth particle. So all those particles of electricity is what would create my dream state. So I'd be dreaming. This little particle, that single atom, the quark, and my soul particle, is what would make me be stuck in the dream. So I'd be stuck in the dream for a little bit. It'd be like, you want to think of it as being knocked out, like how a boxer gets knocked out. If you got punched in the jaw, you get knocked out, but instantly enter a state of dreaming. Same process. So they would come here and put me on that medical bed. And this here is represents equal mass. So they would have to put 240 pounds of dirt on that medical bed beside me. So they deatomize this body completely, and they deatomize 240 pounds. What did I say? 260 pounds of dirt. So there'd be my body, 260 pounds, and then 260 pounds of dirt there, and they deatomize it. It would get deatomized. So there's all the atoms. They'd be moving over to this bed here. There's my that single this atom will get broken down into its subatomic parts, which is an electron, a proton, a neutron. So my entire body would become those little subatomic parts. And inside that little fire electron is the quark. And inside that quark's electron is my soul, and then the universe, and then time and earth. Inside that little thing is everything. So my dead body, the computers would analyze the DNA. They would use that dirt there, and they would use that dirt to recreate the body over here. So that dirt from there would get transformed. The molecular, the dirt would get broken down into atoms and then reconstituted back into molecules of flesh. And then as soon as these particles here were put back into a body, a living, breathing body, I'd wake up. I'd wake up from my dream, because that little atom would be put back together in a living, breathing body, waking me up from my dream. So once this atom gets put back together in my spinal cord, all those particles are inside of there, and I'd wake up. So I'd go from being unalive to suddenly being alive by using advanced technology. That's what evil doesn't know. Well, I've told them that technology exists. I've told them that I have my UFOs, but they just don't seem to believe it. I've asked them 15 times to bring me UFOs. They keep refusing. So now we're in a war because they didn't listen to me. So if I become unalive, that singularity there, it just puts me in a state of dreaming for a couple hours. I would imagine 3 hours, and then my guys would come here, resurrect me. I'd be back to work in 3 hours. But guess what I would do to people who did that? If it was my sleeper cell children who did it, none of you would be joining me in paradise. None of you. And if it was one of my third eye blind children who did it, none of them people will become with me either. You want to think of the three amigos. One of those amigos pulled the trigger. I don't know, say one drops a bomb, say one blows me up, or say one snipes me. Well, then that entire faction, depending on which one did it, wouldn't be joining me. So if I got dropped by a bomb, that entire faction wouldn't join me. If I got blown up, that entire faction wouldn't join me. If I got sniped, then that entire faction wouldn't join me. So you don't want that happening. I'd recommend you think twice about taking matters into your own hands. I keep saying it over and over and over. You can't be an impartial jury member. If you were asked to sit on the jury between, the Invisible Man and Satan, and then the Invisible Man presented his evidence, which was the book, and then you got up and walked out to the court just because you read that one book and said, I find that defendant guilty. Satan is guilty. Without reading the Satan's book, what kind of jury member are you? So you can't take that stance because you're only reading one side of the story. If you take that stance, you could make a mistake, drop the ball, and cost you and a lot of your people a lot of misery. Don't drop the ball. Read both sides of the story. Don't persecute the devil because you read one side of a two-sided story. You got to hear my side of the story, the devil's side of the story, to be a good jury member. You have to hear the defense. You just can't hear the prosecution. Because you're holding that prosecution book right there. You're holding it. And you're holding it against me. You need to hear my defense book. Because that defense book, if you hear me and you hear what I have to say, it could save you. Literally. And allow you to join me in paradise forever. So don't think you can get rid of me and put me under the ground because I'll have UFOs in here resurrect me. If you leave me alone, I'll be running and I can still do it that way too. I cannot be unalive to your folks, is what I'm telling you. So leave me alone because I don't want anyone dropping the ball and not coming into the paradise with us. So my plan is to get 100% participation from mankind. I don't want to lose anybody, but don't take me for a pushover. You open your mouth, you won't be joining me. You do something dumb, you won't be joining me. Everyone needs to keep their mouth quiet, and they can make it to eternity. That's all I ask. Keep your mouth quiet, listen to the facts, listen to the story, and see where it gets you. Otherwise, open your mouth, talk trash, and you're not coming with me. It's that simple, man. So, with that being said, I've decided to put this on her. This is the Rooster. Alice in Chains. Roosters, the song is about, well, they come to unalive the rooster, but the rooster ain't going to get unalived. I'm the rooster. I cannot be unalived because the minute that happens, my guys will come rescue me. Because I've done all the hard work of making those particles positive so they can connect to that negative invisible electromagnetic radiation, or our spaceships can now ride upon those particles of a hydrogen because they're positive. They're not negative because I'm not negative. I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not doing drugs, I'm eating healthy, I haven't even climaxed. The last climax I had was in August. August 1st probably was the last time I did that. I'm Merciful the Angel, and I'm busting out of this prison. All I ask is that you leave me alone. So, that's the Rooster. Yeah, they come to unalive Anthony, but Anthony ain't going to be unalived. And this one here, the hand that feeds, I'm asking you guys, both of you, my sleeper cell children who have a job to do that, who've been told to make sure they pull that trigger and put me like that, that you don't do that. Don't bite the hand that's about to feed you eternity, or I'll put you on a spaceship and send you home. And the other guys, don't you dare bite my hand. I'm the creator, not that invisible man. I don't have to send you on a spaceship home. I just don't have to bring you with me. It's that simple, guys. So don't you dare bite my hand.